You see me live by code, so we won't be beat. Looking at my bill, yeah, it's no frills. Everybody knows that we all the same way. Less is what we pay, deals is what we chase. At the end of the day, we got a whole lot to lose. And every time we shop, our bags we reuse. Get a standing ovation on the way to aisle 8. And all my hollers know I carry weight. My tote bag.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing okay today. I'm not going to be nice today. I'm going to be quite blunt. This morning, I wrote a collectivized letter from a community of sex workers still unable to access a soberized space. Unsigned and correctly unsigned. A theater major should not have to be doing a news report on the dead teenager in British Columbia. A 13-year-old has died of a drug overdose with governmentally supplied equipment, likely a prescription, and I'm not gonna lie, the burned plastic and metal we've all agreed is toxic. I don't know if there's a single scientist in BC willing to discuss the issue. There certainly isn't at VCH right now. There certainly is not a scientist coming out of UBC, in my personal opinion. As the historian involved, as the legal historian involved, hi, my name is Kayla Kostreva. You might know me as Carly Mizrahi. You might know me as Carly Hart. If you met me during my university practicums, you probably met me as either Kayla, Allie Elliott, or Hartley. I am a former Sheridan Creative Writing and Publishing major, of which I was in the first accepted cohort. A Mohawk acceptee into the graphic design and social psychology or gen science programs. And upon awareness, an attendee of my partner's physics lectures. And then a McMaster history bachelor's degree individual. Respectfully, the degree should be finished. Respectfully, I did not write the exams. I wrote what I needed to. And I finished my last semester as the D's Get Degrees girl. And then I didn't pay. In the middle of 2022, amongst another COVID wave, the fifth one at that point in colonial Ontario, I decided that the lack of safety revolving around McMaster's protocols actually does have to do with the inability to delegate room space. And I began boycotting on the fact that they were making their students hang out in the fuck foyer of the David Braley Athletic Center. I was not really impressed that we couldn't, produce quantum qualitative to let the dancers into, a classroom ethically at that point. That's my argument. I don't think that the COVID travel guidelines that were immediately changing upon exit of colonial Canada were going to assist any of the international dancers that I wanted to support. and I boycotted out at that time in February of 2022. I didn't think it was fair to hold filming sessions the weekend after reading week when there was a 14-day collateral on anyone who had potentially been in a plane with a COVID diagnostic. It was a failure to international students, and it was a failure to their friends. It was a failure to those of us who can wait 2 weeks for a product, and it was a failure to the ante on The Show Must Go On. The show does not go on without all parties involved. That includes the individuals who are white and educating themselves in our audiences. And if they are traveling back from Europe, back from home, our show doesn't happen either. I was cast as Larry in a chorus line, and at the time, I was McMaster Musical Theater's Vice President Finance, and McMaster Mac Dance's Recreational Team's Choreography Coordinator. I was McMaster Activist Theater's President, Co-President with Mackenzie Barrera, and an active member of the Soda Department as a teaching assistant. I did not believe that no online TA slot was okay either, and I volunteered to teach it. I can run a Zoom lecture, and my students pass with relational flying colors on basically what I'll appreciate is I had about a 20% 60 rate, a 10% 50 or below rate, which is about accurate for film when you don't have students who speak English, a 45% 60 to 70 or higher rate, and then I would probably say the remainder, between 75 and 92, and I had a couple of A students. I'm not stupid, and neither are my students, who learned how to teach slave plays and Iron Man to a group of mixed-race kids and a predominantly anti-Black Asian community, sadly. There is still a dead child who is in an encampment doing drugs. And this is the housing crisis again. This is the insinuation that we should be funding drugs. This is the insinuation that cleaning up the streets is inherently negative. I'm going to counter some of that. I'm going to remind you all that encampments have to be safe and healthy, otherwise they're suicide camps. What do you think the idea of a suicide camp is to a 13-year-old who has been handed a benzodiazepine prescription because mom, high on hydromorphine, thinks she's crazy? The student can be an ace student. The student understands the Black Lives Matter protest. The student can discuss inherently the idea of race features in the community and colorism. The student can collaterally discuss lighting design and qualitatives that encourage racist troping. The student can discuss the science and technology that came out of the Middle East. Of which, by the way, Black person who wants to say that colonial immigrants didn't build America, they absolutely did because you have our technology. Thank you. Macedonia is the first country, as far as I'm concerned, based on a little notification I got on my phone, with the first public-private relay. Thank you to my cousin who's an icon. Not that we necessarily always chit-chat back directly, but we do. And that's the point. Our colonial private relay is through our Facebook feed where we've discussed our heritage, by the way. Where we have photos of weddings on the internet, where you can visibly see the ethnic rate of the entire family tree. We're going to pause and hold for a song break because there is a dead teenager involved in this conversation today.
close down on me.
I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. Yeah, but the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school, that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City nights, day out before us. Your arms felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. And we'll move out of the shelter. Buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City nights, day out before us. Your arms felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar. See more your friends than you do your kids. I know it's hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me find it. Got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City lights, day out before us. And your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight and live and die this way.
The 13-year-old who died was overdosed on Dialudid. However you want to say it, it's an opiate. It's an opiate. The risk factors are under the words side effects, by the way. Adverse effects of hydromorphone are similar to those of potent opioid analgesic. Oh, I hate that I don't know some of these words. This is why I'm not a biology major. How do you pronounce it? There's no pronunciation guide, whatever. Other potent opioids such as morphine and heroin. The major hazards of hydromorphone include dose-related respiratory depression, urinary retention, bronchospasm, and sometimes circulatory depression. Most common and active side effects will include lightheadedness, dizziness, nystagmus, which is eye movement, involuntary eye movement, sedation, itching, constipation, nausea, vomiting, headache, perspiration, and hallucinations. These symptoms are common in ambulatory patients and those not experiencing severe pain. Simultaneous use of hydromorphone with other opiates, muscle relaxants, tranquilizers, sedatives, and general anesthetics may significantly depress respiration, progressing to coma or death. Taking benzodiazepines, diazepam, in conjunction with hydromorphone may increase side effects such as dizziness and difficulty concentrating. If simultaneous use of these drugs is required, dose adjustments may be made. A particular problem may occur with hydromorphone is accidental administration in the place of morphine due to a mix-up in the similar names. This is where you're all fucking failures to this community, and I'm talking to you draggies. Either at the time the prescription is written or when the drug is dispensed. This has led to several deaths and calls for hydromorphone to be distributed distinctly and differently packaging from morphine to avoid confusion. Massive overdoses are rarely observed in opioid-tolerant individuals, but when they occur, they may lead to circulatory system collapse. Symptoms of overdose include respiratory depression, drowsiness leading to coma and sometimes death, drooping of skeletal muscles, low heart rate, and decreasing blood pressure. At the hospital, individuals with hydromorphone overdose are provided supportive care, such as assisted ventilation to provide oxygen and gut decontamination using activated charcoal through a nasogastric tube. Opioid antagonists such as naloxone also may be administered concurrently with oxygen supplementation. This would be when you give someone naloxone and then start CPR. Naloxone works by reversing the effects of hydromorphone and is administered only in the presence of significant respiratory depression and circulatory depression. If the individual is not breathing and or has openly discussed feeling unwell taking this drug. Sugar cravings associated with hydromorphone use are the result of a glucose crash after transient hyperglycemia following an injection or a less profound lowering of blood sugar over a period of hours, in common with morphine, heroin, codeine, and other opiates. So, if you listen carefully, that's codeine. Codeine is a Tylenol 3. Codeine is a Tylenol 3, you dumb hoes. Friendly fuck reminder, after top surgery, I took marijuana. I ingested, under my tongue, a drop of cannabinoid oils. A benzodiazepine, BZD, BDZs, and BZs, colloquially known as benzos, are a class of central nervous system depressant drugs whose core chemical structure is a fusion of a benzene ring. I know a lot more about this very clearly. I'm allergic to benzodiazepines. They are prescribed to treat conditions such as anxiety disorders, insomnia, and seizures. The first benzodiazepine, chlordiazepoxide, Librium, was discovered accidentally by Leo Sternbach in 1955. That is less than 75 years ago. Thank you. And was made available in 1960 by Hoffman La Roche. it's a Swiss company, which followed the development of diazepam, Valium. 3 years later, in 1963, by 1977, benzodiazepines were the most prescribed medications globally. The introduction of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which I have also been on, and they cause mania,